You trust bottled water more than tap water. But what if that plastic bottle is selling you convenience, not purity? Let's begin with Dasani, owned by the Coca-Cola Company. The branding is clean, modern, and reassuring. It promises purified water with added minerals for taste. But here's what that means in plain terms. Dasani typically starts as municipal tap water drawn from public water systems in various US cities. It goes through filtration, reverse osmosis, and then minerals like magnesium sulfate and potassium chloride are added back for flavor consistency. In 2004, Dasani faced a major recall in the United Kingdom after elevated levels of bromate were detected. The brand never returned to that market. In the United States, however, it remains widely available and trusted. Consumers often pay $1.50 to $2 per bottle for water that originally came from a public source costing fractions of a cent per liter. You're not buying a mountain spring, you're buying processed city water in plastic packaging. Next is Aquafina, owned by PepsiCo. Aquafina once marketed itself in a way that suggested pristine origins. After consumer advocacy campaigns, the label began including PWS, meaning public water source. That disclosure confirms what many didn't realize. Aquafina begins as municipal tap water. The company uses a multi-step purification system, including reverse osmosis, to remove impurities. But the source remains city water. In 2018, a global study testing bottled water brands detected microplastic particles in many samples, including Aquafina. Companies state their products meet regulatory standards, yet scientists continue researching the long-term impact of ingesting microscopic plastic fragments. Aquafina is sold everywhere: stadiums, airports, convenience stores. The price per liter can be hundreds of times higher than tap water at home. Consumers often assume bottled means cleaner. But in many American cities, tap water is tested more frequently than bottled water products. Now let's examine Nestle Pure Life, formerly owned by Nestle before its North American brands were sold to new ownership. Unlike brands that rely solely on municipal water, Pure Life often sources from groundwater wells in various states. This sourcing model has been controversial. In states like Michigan, large-scale water extraction raised concerns among residents and environmental groups. During periods of drought, critics questioned whether corporate bottling operations should be allowed to pump millions of gallons from local aquifers. Independent testing of bottled water brands has also identified microplastic contamination across multiple labels, including Pure Life. While companies emphasize compliance with regulations, long-term research on plastic ingestion continues. When you purchase a $1.50 bottle, you may not think about groundwater rights, environmental sustainability, or plastic waste. But bottled water isn't just about hydration. It's about resource control, packaging, transportation, and profit margins built on a public necessity. Smart Water, also owned by the Coca-Cola Company, presents itself as elevated and sophisticated. The label highlights vapor distillation and added electrolytes. It sounds technical, it sounds premium. But vapor distillation starts with municipal tap water. The water is boiled into steam, condensed back into liquid form, and purified. Afterward, small amounts of calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, and potassium bicarbonate are added for taste. These are the electrolytes advertised on the bottle. Smart Water often costs $3 to $4 per liter. The tall, rigid plastic bottle feels substantial and high-end. Yet that premium feel requires more plastic material per unit, increasing production impact. The marketing implies superior quality. But in reality, the foundation remains treated public water. The difference between Smart Water and tap water may be more about branding perception than dramatic changes in source or composition. Then we have Fiji Water, owned by the Wonderful Company. Fiji Water is marketed as artesian water from a remote aquifer in the South Pacific. The imagery evokes untouched rainforests and tropical purity. But that water travels thousands of miles across the Pacific Ocean to reach American shelves. That long-distance shipping increases its carbon footprint compared to domestic bottled water or tap water. The distinctive square bottle design makes it recognizable, yet it uses more plastic than many standard round bottles. Retail prices often exceed $6 per liter. Consumers pay for international sourcing, luxury branding, and transportation costs. Critics have also raised questions about the ethics of exporting water from developing regions, while parts of the local population have faced infrastructure challenges. While Fiji Water emphasizes sustainability initiatives, the environmental cost of shipping water halfway across the globe remains significant. you are paying premium prices not just for water, but for distance, packaging, and image. Finally, consider Perrier, owned by Nestle. Perrier is marketed as naturally carbonated mineral water from France. The glass bottles, green labeling, and restaurant presence suggest elegance and authenticity. However, Perrier's history includes a major recall in 1990 after benzene contamination was detected. Though regulators stated levels were low and temporary, the incident highlighted how even premium water brands are vulnerable to contamination events. Imported sparkling water also carries the environmental cost of international transportation. A single bottle may cost $2 or more. For carbonated water that could be recreated at home with a soda maker, the price difference is dramatic. Luxury branding can create the perception of purity and exclusivity. But when you examine the history, sourcing, and shipping impact, the premium label doesn't necessarily guarantee superior safety or sustainability. When you step back and examine these 6 brands together, a pattern emerges. Many bottled water products in the United States begin as municipal tap water. Others extract groundwater resources that local communities depend on. Nearly all are packaged in single-use plastic. Independent studies have found microplastic particles present in bottled water samples worldwide. While companies comply with federal regulations, long-term health research continues. Americans spend billions each year on bottled water. Meanwhile, tap water in most major cities is regulated under Environmental Protection Agency standards and tested frequently. In many cases, municipal water must meet stricter and more transparent reporting requirements than bottled water products. There are, of course, situations where bottled water is necessary during natural disasters, travel, or areas with compromised infrastructure. But for many consumers, bottled water has become a default purchase driven by convenience and marketing. A reusable stainless steel bottle and a certified home filtration system can significantly reduce long-term costs. Over time, that choice can save thousands of dollars and eliminate hundreds of plastic bottles. This isn't about panic, it's about awareness. Before buying your next bottle, consider the source, the markup, and the environmental impact. Marketing often sells an image of purity, but the reality behind the label may be much closer to home than you think.